Living the American dream as the President of the United States is undoubtedly prestigious, but it comes with unforeseen costs. Beyond the typical household expenditures like groceries and dry cleaning, there are unexpected financial responsibilities that accompany the position. For example, the First Lady's wardrobe has to align with the dignity of the role, and that means footing the bill for elegant dresses rather than opting for a Minnie Mouse romper. Despite being the most influential individual in the nation, the president finds himself managing personal spending for various tasks. While the White House itself is covered and the president receives a substantial salary, there's still a considerable list of expenses that the leader of the free world must personally handle. So how expensive is it to live in the White House? Well, let's delve into these financial responsibilities that even the world's most powerful figure must contend with. And without further ado, let's get started. In the heart of Washington, D.C., there's a house unlike any other, the White House. This monumental building is not just a home to the President of the United States, but a living, breathing symbol of American leadership. For this reason, the leader of the free world doesn't pay a dime for rent or utilities in this historic mansion. That's right, living in this 132-room residence, complete with a movie theater, a bowling alley, and a jogging track, comes without the usual bills that most of us face. A typical high-end property in Washington, D.C. could cost thousands of dollars a month in rent alone. Add in the utilities for such a large space, and the costs skyrocket. But for the president, these expenses are part of the package, covered not by personal funds, but as a part of running the nation's executive hub. This unique situation sets the White House apart from any other residence in the country, maybe even in the world. However, while living in the White House might come with the perk of no rent or utility bills, it's not all-inclusive. The president does have to reach into their own pocket for certain expenses. Let's start with security. Security is arguably the most critical aspect of the White House operations. The security needs of the White House are unparalleled. It's not just about guarding the president, it's about ensuring the safety of a location that's a target for national and international attention. This involves sophisticated surveillance systems, highly trained personnel, and continuous updates to security protocols. The Secret Service and other security agencies work tirelessly to ensure the safety of the president and the premises. This includes everything from background checks for visitors to constant monitoring of the grounds. The cost of this high-level security is substantial, reflecting the importance and sensitivity of the president's role and the White House as a symbol of American governance. But there's one overlooked aspect: the security of the president's personal property. Notably, during Trump's first year of presidency, he spent nearly $2 million in protecting his properties. The Trump Organization, in turn, charged the Secret Service what has been described as exorbitant rates, totaling at least $1.4 million for agents' accommodations at Trump-owned properties. But it's not just security. Even personal grooming bears a cost. Let's look at laundry and dry cleaning. While dry cleaning might be a regular budget concern for the average American, it holds significant importance for the president. The need to appear sharp and well-dressed on a daily basis, often in elegant suits, is a historical expectation. Fortunately for taxpayers, we're not shouldering the cost of meticulously cleaning the president's expensive wardrobe. Despite the symbolic weight of a freshly cleaned suit, the president's pocket takes a hit for the cumulative expenses of these dry cleaning visits. This is just one example of the numerous personal expenses that U.S. presidents navigate independently. Fashion also plays a pivotal role in the president's life. Let's explore how. The First Lady's clothing. The wardrobe choices of many First Ladies in American history have often been under intense scrutiny. Despite being unofficial figureheads of the state, there's no dedicated allowance in the president's budget to assist them in covering the expenses of their stylish clothing. Let's take a look at how some of the First Ladies manage their costs. Take Mary Todd Lincoln, for example. She had a penchant for shopping and at one point even contemplated selling manure from the White House grounds to settle her shopping debts. On the other hand, Michelle Obama personally funded her clothing expenses, occasionally benefiting from discounts offered by fashion designers. In a well-known episode, Nancy Reagan faced criticism for failing to return the designer clothing she borrowed during her time in office. Beyond fashion, the president's expenditures extend to the very walls of the White House. Let's look at decorating the White House. Upon assuming office, the President of the United States is presented with choices, and one intriguing option is the chance to decorate the iconic White House. A stipend of $100,000 is allocated for this purpose, and any amount exceeding that must come directly from the president's finances. Notably, Barack Obama dove into his own pockets to infuse his style into the White House, exercising the opportunity to select historical items from past administrations, including desks and rugs. In the 1960s, former First Lady Jackie Kennedy captured media attention by using stipend funds to redecorate various areas of the White House. She even embarked on a television tour to showcase her implemented improvements. A more recent and notably lavish example is seen in the White House redecoration by former President Donald Trump. Reportedly, Trump invested over $1.7 million to enhance the aesthetics of the White House shortly after taking office. While each U.S. president receives resources for White House refurbishment, investing personal funds allows them to shape their residence according to their own unique aesthetic preferences. This flexibility allows the president to leave a personal imprint on the historic building. Moving from grand decor to daily necessities, let's see how the groceries and essentials add up. The president's housing expenses, including rent and utilities, are covered by American taxpayers. But when it comes to groceries, it's a different story. There's a long-standing belief that the president, like any average American, should handle their grocery expenses, even though the residence itself is provided. Both everyday citizens and the president have to hit the grocery store to fill their fridges. Still, there's a silver lining for the first family. The White House team boasts incredibly skilled cooks who turn those groceries into delicious meals. It wouldn't be practical for the commander-in-chief to keep track of everyday items like toothpaste or deodorant. The cleaners take care of obtaining these small incidental items as needed, but it's the president that's responsible for covering the costs. At the close of each month, a detailed bill is sent to the president's family, outlining every item purchased for them in recent weeks. While they may not have personally made the purchases, it's expected that they ensure compensation for everyone involved in acquiring these items. This approach maintains a sense of financial responsibility, even in the smallest aspects of the president's daily life. And speaking of personal care, he also handles his grooming needs. The barber's bill. We're all familiar with the wise words spoken to Peter Parker by his great uncle. With great power comes great responsibility. However, when it comes to the most powerful person in the world, it's more like, with great power comes great bills. While being the US president comes with numerous perks, some expenses still fall on the shoulders of the presidents themselves. One such expense is the bill for the barber. This reality came to light through the story of Laura Bush. Reportedly, she was taken aback by the hefty bill from her hairstylist. Nevertheless, she opted to continue getting her hairstyle to perfection. The reasoning behind this decision was not just about maintaining an impeccable appearance, it also aimed at alleviating the additional stress of ensuring her hair was always flawless. This consideration became especially significant in light of the intense scrutiny that past first ladies had experienced. Vacations aren't free either. It's a common assumption that the president of one of the wealthiest nations in the world would have many living costs covered, but the reality is quite different. Just like most of us ponder before taking a break, the same holds for the President of the United States. While taxes cover official state business expenses, personal leisure expenses during downtime at amazing places worldwide are entirely the president's responsibility, covering everything from food to lodging. While the government does cover travel expenses, thanks to Air Force One and the salaries of the president's support team, anything beyond that comes out of the president's pocket. Despite an alleged annual travel account of $100,000 to assist with expenses, presidents have to practice financial practicality, much like the rest of us, even with a salary of $400,000 annually. He also must cater to the thorny issue of legal fees. It's not all fun and games in the Oval Office. Let's look at legal fees. Upon leaving the White House, President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton reportedly faced financial challenges, being described as broke. A significant portion of their financial strain was attributed to the elevated cost of living in the White House. Moreover, the Clintons incurred substantial legal fees during the Monica Lewinsky scandal and the subsequent impeachment proceedings. While the payment of these high legal fees is not uncommon in such circumstances, it was noteworthy that a sitting president had to personally cover these expenses during impeachment proceedings, especially when the impeachment ultimately did not lead to the removal from office. From covering the cost of personal grooming to shouldering the burden of legal fees, being the President of the United States demands a careful balancing act. So, if you were president, how would you handle these expenses? Would you splurge on fancy dinners or maybe choose a more budget-friendly approach to presidential life? Comment down below. That's all for this video. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Until next time, goodbye.